Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning everyone. Hi, my name is Ichsan. I am from English Education Study Program 2021. My ID number A12121026. First of all, I want to say thank to Memang Fula as my speaking in professional context lecturer for giving opportunity to me to make this video. So in this video, I want to explain about one journal about the effect of storytelling on the 11th grade students speaking skill by Yusuf Mahendra and Ansari Shafar. Speaking is one of important skill that must be mastered in learning English because by speaking people can communicate with other people in this world. Speaking is the first way to interact with others in social community. Also, speaking skill can help people to convey information, ideas, thought, or feeling. Speaking means the interaction between the speaker and listener in everywhere. For example, in classroom. Related to the importance of the speaking skills, the national curriculum has set this skill to be taught and applied in the teaching and learning process. As a matter of fact, the national curriculum has put English as one of the important subjects to be taught at school beginning from junior high school, senior high school, and up to university. But there were many problems to improve speaking skills, especially at SMA 1 Parigi, such as, firstly, students had difficulty in speak English words. Mostly, the students were not fluent in speaking since they usually had problem in grammar and pronunciation. Secondly, the students were lack of vocabulary knowledge, thus they had difficulty in arranging a sentence in speaking, even sometimes they get nothing to say. To solve the problem above, that research used storytelling technique to improve students' speaking skill. Storytelling is one of technique used in teaching EFL learners. According Ellis 2014 states that storytelling is telling story to people who are willing to listen. It means storytelling is to retell the story haven't read or heard by using the storyteller's own words based on their understanding about the story. The purpose of her research was to know whether or not storytelling can improve students' speaking skill. The method of this research was a collaborative action research. There are pre-test and post-test of experimental group and pre-test and post-test of controlling group. There are three tables of result or data of the pre-test and post-test. Let's see. So guys, there are the table 1, table 2, and table 3 of result the research. So let's see the first table, result of the pre-test and post-test of experimental group. By looking the table, the results of students pre-test show that the highest score is 62.50, while the lowest score is 35. The total score of students in the pretest is 1,137 and 50.50. Then the mean score achieved by the experimental group in the pretest is 51.7. After the applied of treatment, the post-test results of students in the experimental group had significantly changed. The table above indicate that the highest score of the post-test in the experimental group is 70 and the lowest score is 50. Then the mean score achieved by the experimental group in the post-test is 60.23. The result of the pre-test and post-test of control group is presented on table 2. And yeah, look at the table 2, guys. The data analysis above that the mean score of both experimental and control groups are different. The mean score of the pre-test and experimental group is 51.7 and control group is 52.75. The mean score post-test in experimental group is 60.23, while the mean score of the post-test in control group is 54.5. Furthermore, the highest of the post-test in control group is 66.5, and the lowest score is 42.5. Thus, the mean score of post-test in experimental group is higher than the mean score of the post-test in control group. On the other hand, the total deviation score and the square deviation score of control group were 35 and 475. The result can be seen in the table 3. Based on the computation, the t-counted value was 4.57. After that, to determine whether the hypothesis is accepted or rejected, the t-table counted by applying the degree of freedom, df same n1 plus n2 minus 2 same 22.20 minus 2 same 40 with the level of significance of 0.05. The t-table value was 2.02. Based on the result, it was concluded that the hypothesis of the research was accepted because the t-candidate value was higher than the table. It means the implementation of storytelling technique is effective to improve the 11th grade student speaking skill of SMA and wabarakatuh. And the conclusion is that research had a quasi-experimental design which was intended to get empirical evidence of the effectiveness of using storytelling technique to enhance students' speaking skill at the 11th grade of SMA and wabarakatuh. Based on the statistical analysis, the scores of experimental group in pretest were lower than the control group. It means that there was a difference between students' achievements of the score in pretest. Moreover, there is also a significant difference between the experimental group and control group in post-test. The experimental group got the higher score than the control group. So the storytelling technique is effective to be applied in teaching speaking skills. Yeah, I think that's all for my explanation about the journal or the research. I'm so sorry if I make many mistakes because I'm still learn. Because I'm still learn. Yeah, I think that's all for my explanation. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and see you.